The good for nothing girdle. You know, it's in the Bible. So y'all think I'm making this up. No, I'm talking about a good for nothing girdle. Jeremiah chapter 13. Jeremiah chapter 13. I'm only using this King James version instead of the interlinear version because we're having difficulties today with the internet, and so the online is tripping. So this is already on my desktop. So I'm just going to use the King James. But I wanted to show you this passage from the interlinear, but the Most High will allow us to get through it. I want to show you something here. It talks about a good for nothing girdle. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse number 1. Thus said Yahuwah unto me, go and get thee a linen girdle, and put it upon thy loins, and put it not in water. That means don't take it in and do the normal washing it and drying and all that. Just put it on. Verse 2. So I got a girdle according to the word of Yah, and put it on my loins. And the word of Yah came unto me the second time, saying, take the girdle that thou hast got, same girdle, which is upon thy loin, and arise. I mean, get up. Go to Euphrates. Do y'all see that in your Bible? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Anathoth and Euphrates wasn't across the street from each other, y'all. It's a long way. And hide it there. Hide it there. Where? In a hole. Hide it in a hole of the rock. When you get there, go hide it in a hole of the rock. And this is verse 5. He says, so I went. Did y'all see that? And I hid it by Euphrates, as Yahuwah commanded me. I did what he told me. Right. Just like he told me. And it came to pass after many days, the Yahuwah said unto me, arise, and go to Euphrates. Which means he had to go back. Are y'all hearing me? Go back to where you hid it. And take the girdle from thence, which I commanded thee to hide there. Verse 7. Then I went. I hope y'all catching something between Yah and his preacher, Yah and his prophet. Ain't no whole lot of fussing and fighting going on, is it? No. Dude, and he does it. Right. So then I went. What? I went to Euphrates, verse 7. Stay with me, y'all. And digged. He went back to the Euphrates and he started digging. It says right there, and digged. In English now we would say dug, but King James said digged. And took the girdle. Same girdle, from the place where I had hid it. So he went to the same place and got the same girdle that he hid in the hole of a rock. He said, and behold. That means like, whoa, like look, like be shocked. The girdle was marred, which for us today, it was messed up. It was totally messed up. It was destroyed. It was messed up. It was, there it is, profitable for what? That means it was good for nothing. Y'all remember the subject? The good for nothing girdle. How it became good for nothing. He didn't have to do that. He hid it in a hole, in a rock, left, went back home, went back to go get it, and it had decayed to a point where, according to his own testimony, the girdle was now good for nothing. It was profitable for nothing. And I'm trying to figure out, why did he have me do this? And it wasn't until then that Yah's word came unto me saying, thus saith Yahuwah, after this manner, it's in the Bible, will I mess up, right? What? Pride. The pride of Judah. Whew. The arrogance, the so-called know-it-all. Can I say like this? The uppity-ups and the yuppity-ups. The pride of Judah, the ones that are sitting high and looking low. The ones that have made themselves the big I while making you the little you. I'm going to, you see that garment? You see what I'm ready to do to it? The same thing that happened to that girl. That's how I'm going to do. The pride of Judah and the great pride of Jerusalem. Verse 10. Y'all hang in here with me. This evil people. Ooh, goodness. You know, sometimes I read this and it's like I'm reading something that was written this morning. I have to keep reminding myself, this document is 3,000 years old. Because it sounds like he wrote it, I'm going to say, tomorrow. He said, this people, this evil people, which refuse to hear, watch this, my words, same thing going on today, right? Which walk after the what? Imagination of their heart, just like they're doing now, following nursery rhymes and fairy tales and fables and all this kind of foolishness and man-made customs and religion and all that, and walk after other gods to serve them and to worship them. Oh yeah, the people that's leading my folk into this idolatry and then full of pride and arrogance got folk bowing down knees to Christmas trees and got little kids hunting for Easter eggs and all that, talking about we the children of the Most High, and yet participating in the paganism of the world. This is what he says. He says, watch this. They shall be like this girl, which is, talking about, which is what? Did I make this up? No. Did my topic come straight from the scripture? Yeah. Just taking out the text. That's why I know a lot of folks don't read the text because they didn't even know this was in the Bible. That there was a good for nothing girdle there. He says now, verse 11, for as the girdle cleaveth to the loins of man, so I have caused to cleave unto me the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Yehudah, says Yah, that they might be unto me a people for a name and a praise and for a glory. But they would not hear me, or they would not hear, which implies they're not listening to me. So that's why I want to speak from the subject, the good for nothing girdle. Y'all have a seat. The good for nothing girdle. A girdle that's good for nothing. First and foremost, let me help those of you who may not understand what this girdle is. girdle is not the girdle of a woman who, in an attempt to cause men, or maybe even other women, to believe that she's a little more shapely than she really is. You know, maybe she was sneaking out with some extra donut time and, you know, saying, I'm not gonna have no more of that ice cream in the midnight hour. A couple days later, things are bulging around certain regions that they say, oh boy, I gotta get in this dress. And so they don't wanna do no crunches and not get ready to run no laps. They go find a girdle and they put that on and it squeezes things and hey, now I can get dressed. Maybe it has something to do with it a little bit. Maybe I can get dressed in pride. I don't have to feel so bad. But as soon as I get home, boy, I'm taking this thing off so I can breathe. We're not talking about that kind of occultes. I'm not talking about that kind of girdle in this passage, because that's not culturally what we're dealing with here. That's a translation. That's a word that got translated. The word would be more closely translated a belt, a sash, or a belt that was worn, watch this, around the midsection of a man. And so if I could illustrate it, it would be worn. Can you see that? Sort of like this. This is what he's talking about. He says, I want you to go get a linen garment, a linen belt, and I want you to put it on, and I want you to wear it. Because in those days, it was the shawl, the sash, or the belt, the girdle, if you please, that's what King James used that term, that often identified a person with his royal family. Y'all with me, Zion? So for instance, if my family say our color was blue, for instance, or say we wore a white one with a blue stripe, then all of us, when we went out as a family, we'd have the same one on. Y'all get it? And you could see them and say, oh, those must be Daweed's family, because they all have the same girdle. It was also used sometimes as a sash that went across like this. Try to see it. It was like this. You see, it goes across like this. And then it was then wrapped around. You've seen those, haven't you, Tim? And it was then wrapped around the midsection. So either way, it was used primarily to represent or to identify the royalty or the power or the position or the influence, and I hate to use this word in the negative, but the pride of a family. Please remember that when our Messiah is described in the, what y'all call the New Testament, he has a girdle belt. And it's the same thing. It's wrapped around his waist, sort of in this fashion. So you see, there's garb like that even out in certain circles today. That's what he was told to go do. He said, now what I want you to do is, Jeremiah, first of all, go get a linen girdle. Notice he didn't say wool, he said linen. And I don't have time to deal with that today just because of the fact that it would take a long time. But linen, let me help the Hebrews out worldwide. Linen is not cotton. Write that down. Because I hear people all the time, they want to pull the law on somebody and they say, you talking about you a Hebrew? Well, of course, I was born a Hebrew. I didn't make myself a Hebrew. They said, well, you do know you can't mix wool and cotton. And I'm like, okay, you are a little slow. Linen is not, what? Right, I said, people say that to me. Right, that you can't mix wool and cotton. But you can't, the word there is linen. The word there is linen. And it's important that you understand that linen is not cotton, and cotton is not linen. Cotton grows in a bowl. It's just grow and you pick it. Now, those of you who are looking at me strange about cotton, you need to talk to somebody older than you, because I grew up in the house where my father was in the cotton fields. Amen. And of course we got a lot of clothes as a result of that, but that's a whole other thing, you know. That's not the garment. This garment is linen. It's made, watch this, it's made from a tall grass. It's almost like a grass. It's a very tall plant that grows really straight. And the strange thing about linen is it grows like weeds. It's not a weed, but it grows up like weeds. It blossoms and it puts on little flowers and all that kind of stuff. But it grows by water. You have to have like water around for linen to grow, and it only has about a 100-day cycle from seed to harvest. So I don't have time to go into the whole thing, but I will say this, that once it is chopped down, and it has to be chopped down at the exact right time, because if it's not, if it's too early, then it'll be too green and the linen won't be mature, it won't stick together, and of course it'll be too gummy, and if you wait too late, it'll just dissipate, it'll become too brittle. So people who grow this particular plant, which we call a flax, when they grow it, what they do is they grow this plant, and then that particular plant has to undergo some very interesting things to get to the linen. I'm going to say that real quick, and then we'll move on because I want to show you something here. First, it has to be grown carefully and weeded, because it's weak behind weeds. Wherever there are weeds, weeds seem to always take over linen. As that plant, linen, is trying to grow, the weeds choke it out, so you have to always pluck out the weeds, always, or you won't get linen for your garment. Number two, once it is harvested, it then has to sit and dry out, because what you want, I'm almost about to preach and that's not my sermon for the day, what you want is not the hard outer husk that's sort of like bark on a tree. You don't want that outside part. What you want is the actual fibers that are inside of that sort of like that reed, that plant. You want those fibers in there that are protected by the outer shell. May I say this, oftentimes we put so much emphasis on the outside, we forget that the real value I wish I had two people listening. The real value of a human being is not on the outside. It's on the inside. That's why he said, go get a linen. Go get a linen garb, because I want to show you something. It grows by the water. It has to be harvested at the right time. There has to be weeds taken away, because weeds seem to destroy linen instead of the other way around. It's not like Bermuda grass. If you got some weeds and you plant some Bermuda grass, oh, it ain't gonna take long. That Bermuda grass will choke them weeds out. But not so with this linen garment. Linen, because for some strange reason, it seems that the weeds have more influence on the linen or on the flax than the flax has on the weeds. Now watch this. It then sits and dries, and I could not believe this when I saw it, how they actually get to the linen. I saw it. Now watch this. What they have to do is that they have to get it in bunches once it is harvested, and the bunches stand about this high. And they take about a handful of the bunches, and they honestly beat it over a piece of wood or over something very hard, and then they break the outside until this hard, stiff plant becomes very soft and pliable. They do it over and 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 over so that you can produce one thread. And once it keeps beating it, it turns into something fluffy that resembles hair. It's strange. And then they take the linen, they take a wheel, and they do it just like they would do cotton or wool. They start spinning it, and they pull out just a little bit at a time, and it spins and it collects. And they do all that just to get a spool. And then when they get the spool, they then have to put it on a, what is that thing called? A spinner, the thing that on a spinning wheel. And they gotta then spin it and make it into a garment. Now watch this, all the while they're doing this and creating this garment, it's very complex. You have to keep reminding yourself, this is just a plant that grew up right here that was obviously planted on purpose. It was grown on purpose. Somebody weeded it on purpose. Somebody spent a lot of time to make a garment, because the purpose of the garment, the end result, is to be, I'm going to wear it as a belt of pride. It's going to identify my family. It's going to identify my people. I'm making the belt. So it's done carefully, and it's done with pride, and it takes a long time to do that by hand. And Yah tells this prophet, he says, I want you to go get a linen belt. I want you to go get one. The prophet said, okay, I'm going to go get it. 2 Hebrew words, quickly. Matter of fact, I'm just going to give you the English because you can go look up this for yourself. The word linen is a very interesting word because it has to do with not only the thread, but something that's under pressure, something that is contended, and it has to do with how you actually make the material. But the root word of it has to do with degradation, to degrade, which is strange, because why would cloth and degradation be together? Well, in order for you to make the thread, you have to, in a sense, degrade it. But you have to know when to stop in order for it to be useful. Because if you keep going too far, you destroy the very thing you're trying to make. Am I in the house with anybody? I mean, are y'all staying with me? Are you catching it? Because I want you to see what this is going to represent in a moment. So he says, man, go get that girdle and put it on, but don't wash it first. Don't add any water. Just make the garment, and once the garment is made, as soon as it comes off the rack, and as soon as it is, folded, just go get it, and then put it on your loins. And remember, loins is the lower back region. As I said, you'll wear it sort of like a belt. He said, and I want you to wear it. Well, he did it. He went and got the linen, just like Yah told him, and he put it on and he wore it. Verse 2 says, I got the girdle. I got the belt. Can you imagine what would have happened between today's preacher and Yah? Number one, I don't wear linen. If it ain't 100% wool, it ain't gonna touch this body. I'm talking about the arrogance today of our preachers. What do you mean put on a girdle? First of all, Yah, you don't tell me what to wear. I don't say Vusashi, Gusashi, Gucci, something. They're the ones who dictate what I wear because they got pride, they got arrogance. So y'all trying to tell them to do something as simple as go get this belt. That'd have been a problem. As a matter of fact, in our lives, it's not the difficult things that Yah tells us to do that makes us say no. Oftentimes, it's the simple things that we think he nitpicking about. But this particular prophet, small thing, he went and got it, and he said, I'll put it on my loins. He didn't even know why. He was just told to do it. He went out and bought, put it on. No, he said, I got it. According to the word of Yah, put it on my loin. And the word of Yah came unto me a second time. Now, between the first time and the second time, many days, probably months, and some writers think that it could have been over a year that he had been wearing this belt around. Watch this. He had been wearing it long enough, Miguel, I'm about to help you right here, for everybody who he was around to see it.
That's good.
He wore it long enough to wear, and he wore it every day, so that no matter where he went, somebody said, man, he got that same girdle on. Does he ever change his belt? I mean, it's the same shawl, it's the same sash. He's wearing it every day. And he must love it. That's my new word for my children. That's their new thing. Everything is either love or hate. Daddy, do you love it? Yes, they'll draw a little piece of, little something on a piece of paper. Do you love it? It's beautiful. I'm going to dance for you, Dad. Okay, go ahead. They do a little dance. Did you love it? In other words, when a person does something, or like in this case, if you're wearing that same girdle every day for a year, same belt, the Hebrews around you looking at you saying, he loves it. He loves that girdle. He loves that belt. Why? He wears it. Talk back, y'all. Every day. He wears it every day. Every day he wears it. Not one day he walks around without it. Because it represents something. I told you that. It was the royal class. It was the kingly people. It was the princes and the princess and whoever. They wore those sashes, those belts. They wore those things to let everybody know. When that person walk in, they look and see that belt. They say, oh shoot, that's so-and-so's kid. That's so. And this prophet was wearing this belt every day, and they say he loves it. And I think this, he probably started loving it. Because you keep doing the same thing, you know. Let me see if I can make this live. This is we're in a different generation now, so my illustrations sometimes don't work. I try to make them work, and then I find out later that didn't work. But when I was a child, we had jeans, and there would be a certain pair that you love. We don't do that no more because we buy our jeans toe up now. But, you know, and we buy a pair every week, so it's no big deal. But back in the day, we wore our own clothes out. Until finally, Mama would have to come to you and say, throw it. What about shoes? Anybody have? No, we don't do it no more because of Walmart and Target. You can go get a pair of shoes every day if you want. But back in the day, you'd have a pair of shoes you wouldn't even know had wore out until you felt moisture on the bottom of your foot because your sock touched the. You don't remember that, but I do. That's why I said my illustrations, they may not go far like they used to because it's a different generation. Amen. But back in the day, you didn't get a new pair of tennis shoes every week. I'm so happy you here, man, because you know I'm telling you the truth, right? I was in the pulpit one time. I had my favorite pair of church shoes on back in the day. Crossed my legs and my sock was coming through the sole, I promise you. I looked up and I said, oh shoot. In other words, when you have something that you keep with you for a long length of time, I'm really going somewhere with all this sermon, believe me. It's because you love it, and the closer it's to you, the more you love it. And then here comes the word of Yah again to him. Jeremiah. It's right here, verse 4. Take the girdle that you have, which is upon your loin. So when he came to him the second time, he was still wearing it. That represents what? Obedience to the Most High Yah. And he said, and go, arise and go. Man, I hope I can get to this message. To the Euphrates, or to Euphrates. There's no love there in the King James. But to Euphrates, and hide it there in a hole in a rock. Verse 5, so I went. Wait. What do you mean you went? Yeah, he told me to go, so I just went. Hold it. You do know that the Euphrates wasn't across the street. When you read the European commentaries on this passage, they all say, he didn't go to Euphrates. It's too far. This is a misprint. This is a misunderstanding. Nowhere in the world a person gonna go all the way to the Euphrates from Anathoth just to hide a garment. See, that lets me know right there, Zion, they don't understand culture. And number two, they don't understand, not understand culture, but they don't understand prophets. Because everything the prophet does, he does it in obedience to the Most High Yah, knowing that there's a deeper meaning. So if the Most High Yah said, go to Euphrates and hide the girdle, he's the one who told me to put it on, so therefore he's the one who can tell me to take it off and go hide it. Now, how far is Euphrates from Anathoth? Remember, I told you they're in Anathoth, right? That's where the fellas are that seek his life. So, how far did he gotta go? Can I tell you what they estimate? 350 to 400 miles. Most people think it's closer to 400 miles, which is interesting that you get a 4 in there. 400, 400, 4,000, for this, for that. It always represents in the 4s and the 40s. You already know from my study of numerology, represents what? Testing. Whenever you get 4s, you're talking about testing. So here we go. 400 of our quote-unquote miles away to a place called the Euphrates. How long did it take you to get there? Y'all do the math. A human can travel maybe 20 miles a day. So if he can only go 20 miles a day, it would take him 5 days to go 100 miles. Y'all still with me? So to go 400 miles will take how many days? So at least, almost, I should say, a month of walking. To do one simple thing, hide this girdle. He's walking with it and then, Jeremiah, where you going? Y'all told me to go hide. Hide what? The girdle. Man, that's your favorite girdle. I know. Man, you've had that thing for over a year. Mm-hmm. Are you really going to do it? Mm-hmm. Jeremiah, you know the work that went into making that girdle? I do. I mean, dude, everybody's starting to know you by your girdle. I mean, that's your belt. He said, I know. But the Most High told me to take it down to the water. And what are you going to do? He said, put it in a rock, in a hole. I like this thing. been having a long time, but that's what he told me to do. So how you going to get there? I'm walking. Do you see how everything is a witness?
Right.
So he's got to walk out of Anathoth. He's got to walk through Galilee. He's got to walk up through Jerusalem. He's got to walk all the way, up. And he's going to go all the way over to the Euphrates. It's in the Bible. You don't have to argue Scripture with so-and-so know-it-alls who want to tell you that it's not saying what it's saying, because you can see that the Word told him to do it. Arise and go to Euphrates and hide it. And verse 5 says, so I went. Which means it didn't matter how far I had to go. He told me to go. It didn't matter how insignificant it seemed. He told me to do it. And I did it. I hid it. It's in the Bible. In the hole. I went and hid it. Verse 5. As, there it is, Yahuwah commanded me. I did exactly what he commanded. So he goes all the way down here, hides it, walks all the way back home. Then he's at home for, in this Bible, what does it say? Many days. So he's at home now. Still trying to figure out what is this all about. But hey, y'all told me to do it, I'm gonna do it. He's at home many days that Yahuwah said unto me, watch this, arise. Wait, whoa. Arise again? Get up. And do what? Go to Euphrates. Do y'all see that in your Bible? Go to Euphrates and do what? Take the girdle. Wait a minute. You told me to go put it in the hole. I did it. Came back. He said, yeah, now go back and get it. Go back? Can you hear one of us? See, that's why I'm trying to get you to see this thing in real life. Could you see one of us after just making a 400-mile journey on foot, which represent at least an 800-mile journey round trip, finally get home, put your feet up, they finally not sore anymore, amen, and you feeling a little bit better, and now you get a word say, go back, and I gotta go back to do what? Go get it. Here we go. Here we go again. Jeremiah, where you going? Euphrates. For what? Y'all remember my girdle, right? Of course, of course. You remember I had to take it up there? Yeah, man, we was wondering, man, what does up with that? How come you went up there and put it up there? I mean, since you came back, you haven't had it. Can you see him saying that? He said, well, the Most High told me to go hide it. Why? Well, I'm not actually sure. But what I do know now is that he's given me permission to go back and get it. So I'm on my way back. And he has to go right back through all of those places without his girdle this time. And everywhere he goes, he's going to get the same question. Hey, man, where's your girdle? What happened? I'm on my way back to get it. And he tells him the story. And he goes all the way back. And he gets the girdle. It's right in verse 7. Well, the place where I hid it, and behold, that's what I'm trying to get in the text, and behold, the girdle, the thing that was supposed to represent pride, right? Remember I told you it's family pride, and not in a negative way, but just simply identification and pride is a part of putting on, really nice garb. He says it was marred. It was messed up. It was decayed. One translation literally uses the word, the same word for sin. That word marred there is the same Hebrew word that's translated sin, and that word marred really means it was rotten. It had rotted. That beautiful belt, that beautiful sash, that beautiful girdle belt that he wore with pride, that he loved, and that identified him with a message from the Most High, was now rotten. It was marred, and he said, and profitable. It was profitable for nothing. It couldn't even hold my garment. I picked it up and tried to put it, it just tearing all up. It's nothing now. I can't even put it back on. I can't even wear it. Because at this point, it's now good for, it's good for nothing. You're like, wow. I thought y'all was going to work a miracle. I thought I was going to walk all the way over here and he was going to say, pick it up. And it was going to be perfect, just like it was when I put it there. And it's going to say, what a great miracle. My show is just like it was when I put it here. It's perfect. How did you do it, Most High? How did it happen? Show me your magic. Like, no, man. No magic in this miracle right here. This ain't no miracle. I'm trying to show you something about my people. You mean you had me walk from Anathoth all the way back to Euphrates to pick up a marred girdle, a marred belt, a rotten, falling apart, good for nothing girdle? He said, yes. Pick it up, take it back to Anathoth. And every time a person asks you what happened to your beautiful belt, you tell them this. Say, just like Yah. Oh no, this is what he said. Just like the water of the Euphrates ruined this beautiful belt, so will Yah mar the pride of Judah and the great pride of Jerusalem. Yeah. Every time somebody sees that belt all nasty and broken up and coming apart, you're going to have a testimony and say, you see what happened to this belt? That's exactly what's going to happen to the pride of Judah and Jerusalem. This prophet had a weird testimony. He's not saying, look at my Lear jet that cost $65,000. I want to show you how Yah's moving. He's carrying a raggedy piece of linen cloth that's good for nothing as his preaching tool. And this is the part that got me. I'm going to let y'all go. I know it's late. Watch this. This is the part that got me. This is what he said. Remember I told you how you grow it with great care, and then how you wear it with great pride? And it looks like he even hid it with great care. But the very place that it probably could have originally grown from, when it was put in that area without being tended to. Are y'all watching? The rise and the fall, the natural ebb and flow of the Euphrates, with the natural earth and world affecting the garment, turned it into a worthless, rotten piece of material. We trying to figure out what this thing is all about. He says, all right, here's your message. He said, remember Jerusalem and Judah? He said, mm-hmm. They were like a girdle to me. See, you never know that's what he was trying to do. You didn't know. You didn't know that Yah was trying to tell you, you were the belt I wore. Your people was that linen that I raised up, that I put through the quote-unquote process. I'm the one who took proper care to grow it right. And I knew when to harvest it, and I knew the right time to pull out the inside, which made it valuable. And I'm the one that wove it together into a fabric, and I placed it close to me. I fell in love with the belt. I walked around with this great pride of my people on me as Yahuwah. The belt is you, that I'm the wearer. But because of your arrogance and pride, I had to take you off. Now watch this. And get you far from me. See, that's what the commentaries don't understand. They don't understand is that what Yah was trying to do was to show the condition of the people if they get far from him. While you're close to him, and you can't get no closer to him than a girdle belt, while you're close to him, you can be on him, wrapped around him, watch this, every day, and there's no sign of degradation, none. You look just as good today as you did the day he wrapped you around his waist. But as soon as you were taken off his waist and set out on your own to try to make it on your own by the quote unquote Euphrates River of the world, it didn't take long. The pride of Judah is now disgusting. The pride of Judah is now rotten. And the pride of Jerusalem is now marred. Now, may I say this as it goes out worldwide? You do know that that is what happened to Israel. In Babylon, they were removed from Jerusalem. And there they went by the river. It's in the Bible. And there they hung their harps on the willows. Y'all remember that story? Because they were in captivity and they were being used and abused until finally, as a whole, it almost looked like they were totally worthless. So by the time you go look back in Babylon, or when they come back, it's just not the same. Stay with my illustration. It's not the same garment going in as it was coming out. But can I give you the big one? Have anybody ever heard of the transatlantic slave trade? Anybody ever hear that? Amen. See, prophetic vision says that the people who represent the girdle belt are not just going to be placed across the street from Yah, around the corner, but in a far place, so far you couldn't even really imagine how they could get that far away from home. Just like if a person had found that girdle belt and they were just walking by and they picked it up and they go, where did this come from? And they say, Anathoth. Somebody saying, Anathoth? How did this garment from Anathoth end up in the Euphrates River under a rock? It's too far. It's impossible. Who would do that? Same thing they're telling you and me today. You can't be from Israel. How did Israel end up in America? How did Judah get to Brazil? How did Judah get to South Carolina? How did Judah end up in Mississippi? How did Judah? No, man, come on, no. Besides, now watch this. Now this is the kicker. Let me slow down to this part. Besides, have you looked at them? They bagging and sagging. This can't be Israel. This can't be Judah. You talking about the nation that he wrapped around his waist as pride? You ain't never seen no twerking video? That ain't Judah. Have you went by the prison lately and see that 90% of the people in those cages their parents got off of slave ships? You trying to tell me that's Judah? They good for nothing. You got men in prison having sex with other men in prison. It's bad enough you in prison. You know good and well, number one, you weren't supposed to be in prison in the first place. And number two, the Most High Yah told us man can't lay down with a man as a woman. And then you try to tell them, but they Judah. They say, Why? Because it's marred, unrecognizable. Do you get it? Our neighborhoods got bars on the windows to keep out us. Because now check in this city, folk in River Park and living in Wilbur Park or Wilbur Lakes ain't just taking like leisurely trips to the west side to break in your house and take a TV that only costs $150 on sale at Walmart. But a Hebrew with the same TV in his house will break into the next door neighbor. It all comes from Walmart. No, that's what I'm trying to get you to see. You say, wait a minute, those people? No. Marred until useless. Marred until it was good for nothing. What did Yeshua say? He said, you are the salt of the earth. But don't miss this. If you, salt, lose your savor, which has to do with your influence in the world as followers of me, because that's what makes us influential. If you lose your Savior, he says you're good for nothing, but to be cast out and trodden under the foot of men. You know one of the hardest things he had to convince people when he got back? I'm sure of it. That this was the same garment. Man, that ain't the same thing you was wearing. This is the same garment I wore for over a year. Man, that's not it. Man, we know that garment. It doesn't look like that. It sure didn't smell like that. It didn't fall upon that. And it would almost seem like he would have to take a person and say, man, come here. Here's one little piece right here that still shows you. Can you see that right there? It's like, oh my goodness. Dude, that's the garment. That's crazy. Listen, that's the last day picture for us. The last day picture for us, y'all, is that we become this garment. And if you cannot catch this, pray and ask y'all to reveal it. If it wasn't for you being that little piece that's not corrupted and destroyed, the whole world wouldn't know of your past glory. Nobody would know who you were or where you came from. Not even you. But the Most High reserved a little bitty, here it is, remnant. My people. And what does that do? It destroys our pride and our arrogance. Now we have to walk in humility because we've been marred. But I got some good news. I'm not going to leave you on a bad note. I got some good news. Our Heavenly Father, through our Hamashiach, has given him the power to make all things, come on, talk back to me, new. So therefore, if any man be in the Hamashiach, he is a new creature, a new creation. And therefore, all things are, y'all know this one, and behold, all things become. And therefore, as many as you have accepted Christ or have believed in the Hamashiach, we are now to put on. We got to put him on. And that word means we must once again, all of us, have our own girdle belts to wear. As a representation of who we are and whose we are. Because in the end, when you look at the Hamashiach, he's wearing the belt. Which means through his power of redemption, the belt that was marred has been some kind of way put back together, and he's once again wearing it with pride. Hallelujah. I want to be. Hallelujah. Ooh, just make me one piece of thread. That's all. Hallelujah. On the belt of Yeshua. Just let me be so close to him that everywhere he goes, I go. And everything he does, I'm doing it with him. And whatever he wants, I'm willing to get. Y'all get it now? I just want to be one little piece of thread, just give me one stitch. They all ruined. Say, wait a minute, hold on. I see one little stitch ain't wrong. How about you? Let's not be a good for nothing girdle. Every head bow, every eye closed. Abba Yah, we come to you today because when we really think about it, we were cast far from you. And the filth of this captivity has marred us completely. But the truth